Hey everybody, what's going on? What's hot? What's hip? What's happening? What's shaking on your Tuesday night? We've got a great one for you tonight. I am going to tell you all about the legendary comedy series Get Smart, and it's gonna rock. You're gonna like it quite a bit. Hey, before we get going too far, too fast, please like, share, subscribe, retweet, notification bell, all the free things. It won't cost you a farthing that you can do to help the algorithm, the almighty, all-powerful, all-seeing algorithm. We do have super chats. We do have memberships. We love it when you do that because it's, dinero, mean green, wampum. Daddy needs a new pair of shoes. And if you're smart, you'll turn on your gifted memberships. Very generous people donate those gifted memberships. It tells how right at the bottom there in the scroll. Let's see. What do we got here? Says I don't even know what that means. I don't know what that means either. World Wide Web Wizard. I don't know what you're talking about, man. I absolutely don't know what you're talking about. Get Smart, an amazing series, very, very, very popular. And we're going to get to the heart of it here in just a couple of minutes. It means Vito fan. I don't know who Vito is, so I don't think I am a Vito fan. I'm sorry. There's a lot of Vitos in the world. You're going to have to be more specific. Hey, our good friend, our very, very, very good friend, SG Fanboy, has been at it again. This is a picture of Maxwell Smart, played by Don Adams, the star of Get Smart. But in my mailbox, just before the show started, I received a photo of Maxwell Gully. Yes, there I am. There's not that much difference. So please, we'll do that again. There's no sleight of hand afoot here. There we go. There's Maxwell Smart, and then there's Maxwell Gully. There you are. Enjoy that. It's the last time you're going to see it here on the show, unless somebody super chats me and wants it. We do have a goal for every show in terms of super chats, money, monetary goal. Our goal every night is any amount of money. Any amount of money whatsoever will satisfy the goal on the Tom Gully Show. I could vamp for another 3 minutes, which is what we usually do to give people time to get in the room, as we say. I don't think I'm going to this time. I think I'm going right into it. That'll get people sort of stimulated to be here a little earlier. Let's not mess about. Oh, I did do another custom background, though. Maybe I should show you that real quick. I'm going to show you that real quick. That's sort of from the opening. I'll tell you about it. I'm going to show you another thing here from the opening. Get Smart. And by the way, the opening, very important, and I'll tell you about it in just a second. Obviously, Get Smart, an American comedy TV series that was arriving at a time and created for a time in the early to mid-'60s when secret agent stuff, mostly because of James Bond, was exploding all through the culture, everywhere. You saw it in TV, you saw it in comic books, you saw it in movies, obviously. Secret agents were all the rage. The Man from U.N.C.L.E., I Spy. I mean, you name it, secret agents were the thing. So they went to Mel Brooks and Buck Henry. I'll tell you about Buck Henry in a second. I'm not going to talk too much about him because I got a bone to pick. And they said, we want something. And they said, why don't we take the James Bond craze and Mel Brooks's humor? You guys all know but Mel Brooks, Young Frankenstein, and Blazing Saddles and all the rest. And they said, why don't we combine those two things? And that's what they did brilliantly with Get Smart. Now, Buck Henry is a really widely regarded dude in the world of comedy. But if you listen to one of my interviews with Greg Theakston about Betty Page, Playboy Magazine contacted Greg, and he told his whole Betty Page story. And then Playboy took it, and Buck Henry put his name on it. So I'm not going to mention Buck Henry again. I probably should. It's probably unfair of me, but I'm not going to. Hey, this show debuted on NBC in 1965. Interestingly, one of the networks tried to get Mel Brooks to put a mother in the show that he told his story to and do some things. And Mel Brooks just said, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. Julian Caesar says secret agents always drive flashy cars. I could have put the car in here, which was a Sunbeam. It was a convertible. It's actually the red convertible that you see in the opening. And that was kind of a thing, but I chose not to go too deeply in that because after all, last night we just did a whole hour-long show about a car. So people saying hi. We do have the most cheerful chat room on the internet as verified by independent sources. The Wolf is here saying hi to Julian Caesar. People saying hi. People saying hi. Terry Nee quite correctly states that Julia Child was a secret agent. She worked for the OSS and carried very sensitive messages and documents. And I believe some sort of Caribbean or warm water island somewhere. I believe she also knew Ian Fleming, the James Bond author. So Morpha says Julia Childs was butter. Yeah, she cooked with a lot of butter. But back to our story. Premiered September 18th, 1965. It did star this gentleman right here, Don Adams. And interestingly, Don Adams took a much lower salary for portraying Maxwell Smart, Agent 86, which is kind of a joke. Being 86 means being excluded from something, not to be confused with this gentleman who had no part in the series at all. But Don Adams, brilliantly and pretty much typecast as Maxwell Smart the rest of his career. He was also director on the series. He starred alongside Barbara Feldon, Agent 99 in this series, and Edward Platt, who I couldn't get a good enough picture of, so I chose not to have a picture of Edward Platt. Now, the show itself, boy, it just generated a ton, and I mean a ton of catchphrases. This show is not just well rated, it was critically acclaimed, and it was a big part of American culture. And there were catchphrases like, I'm going to do my best Don Adams. You'll recognize the Don Adams voice. He was also the voice of Tennessee Tuxedo, for those of you cartoon fans. Sorry about that, Chief. And he would say, someone would say, you might be killed, you'll be thrown into a pot of boiling oil. And he would say, and loving it. That was just a catchphrase. You'd throw and loving it onto the end of, whatever you were talking about. Another one was missed it by that much, when he would invariably screw up on something, which he did a lot. And would you believe, which always preceded some outlandish excuse or story. Couldn't get a picture? Sorry about that, Chief. But Maxwell, didn't you realize all you had to do was push this button and the entire bomb would have been defused? Sorry about that, Chief. It's a great show. That's the second biggest fill in the blank I've ever seen. Yeah, that was another one. That's the second biggest exploding poisonous ice cream sundae I've ever seen. Anyway, catchphrases all over the place with Get Smart. Now, here's the deal. The opening of Get Smart is so iconic. Starts out with him in a phone booth. The phone booth descends below ground. And then he walks down this huge, long hallway corridor thing, at the end of which was a series of doors that he kept walking through and walking through and walking through and walking through with the great music that I can't play here because it's copyrighted. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. I know you're doing it at home now. Dun, 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 dun. Just a great opening. So iconic that in 2010, TV Guide ranked Get Smart's opening title sequence at number 2 on its list of TV's top 10 credit sequences. And that was selected by the readers of TV Guide, not a panel of critics, but the readers of TV Guide. The show did switch networks at the end of its run, and ran for a season on CBS and ended in 1970 with a total of 138 episodes. As I mentioned, the whole series centers around Agent 86 and Agent 89. And by the way, Agent 99, excuse me. Bad Tom. Agent 99's name was never revealed on the program. She was just Agent 99. And Maxwell Smart and Agent 99 worked for, as Rumpled Trenchcoat was alluding to in the opening of the show, an organization called Control, which was a secret government counterintelligence agency based in Washington, D.C., and they fought against KAOS, the International Organization of Evil. And right here, Agent 99 is being held at gunpoint by one of the frequent henchmen that they would encounter, from KAOS. All right. All of the secret agents had organizations, SMERSH or whatever. They all had their own acronym as well. Now, the cast and crew of this program would contribute joke ideas, gadget ideas. Don Adams was famous for this. He contributed a lot of them. And the exception to that is the third season episode, Little Black Book, when Don Rickles encouraged Adams to misbehave. Don Rickles and Don Adams were very, very close personal friends. And so Don Adams just ad-libbed throughout the entire episode. And the result of that was so successful that the single episode was turned into two parts. Don Adams, again, he was the central figure in the series. And despite being a top secret government agent, he is incredibly inept and absurdly clumsy. Excuse me. Yet he's very resourceful. He's very skilled in hand-to-hand combat. He's an excellent marksman, and he is the luckiest man in the world. He tries the most outlandish Hail Mary things all the time, and they all work out for him. And all of this makes him inexplicably, and much to the frustration of his superiors, one of Control's very top agents. Mel Brooks is the one that picked Smart's agent number 86 as a reference to the slang term, which is somebody gets 86th from a club or a casino. That means they're thrown out. In 1999, TV Guide ranked Maxwell Smart number 19 on its 50 greatest TV characters of all time list. And the character appears in every single episode. There's one where he's hardly in it because he was performing in Las Vegas for 2 weeks to settle gambling debts. Important to mention, Don Adams, the person, huge gambler, famously gigantic gambler. Also important to mention is that Don Adams enlisted and was in the U.S. Marines and served in World War II at Guadalcanal. And after that became a commercial artist and did some other things until he won Ted Mack's Amateur Hour, one of the contests on that program, with a stand-up comedy routine. Now, Agent 99, Barbara Feldon, here she is. She works alongside Agent 86 and is one of the top agents. As I mentioned, her name is never, ever, ever revealed. And she's got this secret crush on Maxwell Smart that Maxwell is completely oblivious to. 100% can't tune into it. Absolutely can't tune into it. But Agent 99 does marry Maxwell in season 4. And during the ceremony, there's an admiral at the wedding. And he starts snoring when the minister says her name, making it completely inaudible, and nobody can hear what her actual name is, forever keeping it a secret. She's always the one that's super high-level professional. In one episode, the chief, and we'll get to him in a second, says an assignment requires extreme bravery and competence. But since Agent 99 isn't available, Max can do it. According to Barbara Feldon, 99 is deeply in love with Max, neither overlooks or understands his quirks while he's clueless. But he does demonstrate his affection for her with his concern for her well-being at all times. The Chief is a very well-known and well-used character actor named Edward Platt. I have some photos of him, but they are so different than he appears on this program. I chose not to use them. They're beards and wacky hairdos. Forget it. He's the head of Control, okay, that secret agent organization. And his first name is revealed to be Thaddeus, but his surname isn't revealed. He sometimes uses the code name Harold Clark for outside people, but all the Control people know that's not his real name. He's very supportive of his agents, and he considers Maxwell and Agent 99 to be his very best friends, but he is constantly frustrated with Maxwell Smart. And, there you go. Now, there's other agents involved in this wacky mess. It's brilliantly conceived, absurdist, hilarious stuff. This is Agent Larrabee, all right? And that's Don Adams' actual cousin, Robert Carvelis. And he's the chief's assistant. And he is even more slow-witted, bumbling, and incompetent than Maxwell Smart. One of my favorite characters in the whole series is, yes, Bernie Capel as Ludwig von Siegfried. He's a reoccurring villain, and he's the, this is hilarious. Get this. He is the vice president in charge of public relations and terror at KAOS, though his title varies from time to time. Despite his gruff and proper demeanor, yeah, he's every bit as incompetent as Maxwell Smart. Totally. He's very incompetent himself. Don't kid yourself. There's a Starker. He's Siegfried's equally ruthless but inept chief henchman. And he does silly, dumb things which annoy his boss as being very unbecoming of a KAOS agent. Like he will like a certain kind of flower, or he knows show tunes, or stuff that just evil people just don't do. All right? Now, another of my favorite characters on this show is the late, great, Dick Gautier. And Dick Gautier plays a humanoid robot built by KAOS, but in his very first mission, Maxwell Smart manages to turn him into a control agent and robot. And he was Jaime, the robot. I forget what Jaime stood for. It was an acronym. And he had a tendency to take his instructions way too literally. Very, very literally. And a hilarious character. Just a funny guy. Let's see. Agent 13 was played by David Ketchum, and he was an agent who was usually stationed in these bizarre, impossibly small places, like inside of a cigar box, or an unlucky place like a cigarette machine, a washing machine, a locker, a smelly locker, or clothes hamper, a place you wouldn't want to be. And he tends to be extremely resentful of his assignments. Now, I've been showing you photos of the shoe phone. The shoe phone is an amazingly durable item, and people even to this day use it. Is the wolf going to start this again with "This is what her name is"? There are several episodes. Wolf, I'm sorry. You're going to start this again, and I've done the research. So I'm going to get to some comments here real quickly, and then we'll get back to the shoe phone. Let's see here. People saying hi. Most cheerful chat room on the internet is verified by independent sources. She had a sexy vibe. Barbara Feldon did have a sexy vibe. I didn't see Barbara Feldon too much outside of this particular series, but she did have kind of a sexy vibe. She had a little bit of a thing, you know what I'm saying? She had a little bit of a thing. People saying hi. Dupa is here. Dupa. Always great to see her. Terry Neeg rightfully points out that Bob Newhart was another extremely close friend of Don Rickles. Coach Mike Rodick says, I'm late again. I really need to get my stuff together. Hello, chat. Oh, hey, Tom. Nobody's ever late to the Tom Gully Show, Coach. That's a thing about us. People saying hi. The Wolf says 99's name was Susan Hilton. In the episode 99 Loses Control, season 3, episode 19, she uses the name Susan Hilton, but later in the same episode tells Max that it is not her real name. Boom! Boom! That makes up for my mistake about Quincy. There. I've evened the slate. But excellent deep research, Wolf. Excellent deep research. Rumble Trenchcoat says her name is never revealed, but we all know it's Frank Colombo. No, she said it was fake. Well, there, see, he corrected himself. Wolf is self-correcting. Right, Kim, when she got married. Well, I don't know if it was that one, but let's not bicker. Oh, by the way, Chris Cheshire, really enjoy having you here. He's another deep knower of TV knowledge with the rest of the gang in here. 99 is smoking hot. Well, I'll give you another picture over there. The Wolf says, hello. People saying hi. People saying hi. Chris Cheshire says, we don't sneeze at KAOS. Bernie Capel is just genius as everything he's in. Okay, so let's see here. More people saying hi. More people saying hi. Can you tap a shoe phone? I don't know about that. I have to research that. But we're going to get into the shoe phone. I did way too much research on the shoe phone. Trust me. Barbara Feldon was an early crush of mine for sure. Hey now. Shoe phone sounds like a terrible idea. Well, that was we'll get to it, Tim. We'll get to it. People saying hi. Chris Cheshire says, Tiger, sexy barber commercial in the 60s. He says, thank you. Don't thank me. You did all the work. Dupa Dupa says, I'm watching Tom and Wolf play a long game of Trivial Pursuit. Love it. The Wolf knows a ton of stuff. He does. He knows way more things than I do. I'll say that. I might have areas of expertise, but the Wolf probably there's a lot of things that I don't care about, and the Wolf cares about everything. He knows something about everything. People saying hi. Yeah. So they play 4D Trivial Pursuit. Yeah, me, Wolf, and Spock play 4D Trivial Pursuit. So in Get Smart, telephones are concealed in everything, including a necktie, a comb, a watch, and a clock. But the biggest one, and this is an idea from Mel Brooks, was the shoe phone. So to use it, to answer it, to make a call, to take a call, he's got to take his shoe off. And several versions of this were used. Sometimes one of them was disguised as a golf shoe with cleats. And that was developed by the really sexy, their armorer and invention person. I guess, who was the guy in James Bond? Q, was a go-go dancer. Her cover, she's a brilliant scientist, and I think it was Dr. Simon part of the time. It was Dr. somebody else part of the time. They'd have to, when they went to see her, wait outside of her go-go dancing stage, from which she would walk in, take off clothes, then go back out on stage while she's telling them about this amazing invention that she had. They also, by the way, Maxwell Smart shoes also have other things in them, like explosive pellets, smoke bombs, compressed air capsules that could make the wearer sort of shoot up in the air off of the ground, and a suicide pill, which Maxwell Smart thought was for the enemy. It was really for him. Agent 99 had concealed telephones as well. She had one in her makeup compact and one in her fingernail, and she would always pretend to bite her nail nervously while actually talking on her nail phone. He had other things that gag phones would do. One was a phone gun, which you had to dial a certain number with a rotary phone, by the way. In one episode called Satan Place, Maxwell Smart simultaneously holds conversations on 7 different phones: his shoe, his tie, his belt, his wallet, his garter, a handkerchief, a pair of eyeglasses. Other weird, unusual locations include a garden hose, a car cigarette lighter. By the way, the lighter was hidden in the car phone. A bottle of perfume, steering wheel of his car, a painting of Agent 99, the headboard of his bed, a cheese sandwich, lab test tubes, a Bunsen burner, which Max puts out the flame anytime he pronounces a P, a planter, beside a real working phone. And then another time, the phone was inside another full-size working phone. Now, one of the other recurring gags on the show, and I love this one too, and a lot of people will remember this one, is the cone of silence. And Maxwell Smart, when he had something very, very, very secret, he would insist on following, because that was another thing about Maxwell Smart. He was by the book all the time. He wouldn't break any protocol ever, ever, ever. Now, he might screw up the way it was supposed to be done, but he would follow the protocol. And the cone of silence was part of that. So when discussing very confidential things in the chief's office, these two transparent plastic hemispheres are lowered on top of Max and the chief, and they're supposed to prevent anyone outside the cone of silence from hearing them. But it invariably makes it impossible for them to hear each other. And because they had to yell at the top of their lungs to try and get the other person to hear them, people outside the cone could hear everything. Everything. Now, the cone of silence was allegedly the idea of Buck Henry, although it was preceded by a syndicated television show called Strange Fiction Theater in 1955, 10 years ahead of Get Smart. I'm sorry, but Buck Henry ripped off my friend's thing. Sorry. Like, share, subscribe, notification bell, retweet, all the free things you can do to help this show with the algorithm, the almighty, all-powerful, all-seeing algorithm. We do have super chats. We do have memberships as we try to achieve our goal every night, our financial goal of any amount of money. Please turn on your gifted memberships in case somebody loses their mind and gifts people memberships to this program so you can get that special members only content that we do on the weekends. Famous guest. Now, this show wasn't just like a media sensation that was lending all these catchphrases to popular culture. It was highly thought of critically. It was good in the ratings, but because of Don Adams' stature and Mel Brooks' stature in the world of entertainment, they got famous guests for the time. Now, younger listeners may not know who some of these people are, but hopefully you'll remember or recognize a name or two. Famous guests include Steve Allen, Barbara Bain from Mission Impossible, by the way, Billy Barty, the legendary little person, Shelley Berman, famous comic, Milton Berle, Uncle Milty, Mr. Television, Ernest Borgnine, Academy Award winner for Marty and in everything after that, Tom Bosley, Mr. C on Happy Days, Victor Bono, Carol Burnett, John Biner, James Caan, although he was uncredited, a gentleman by the name of Johnny Carson, a guy that we just talked about with rumpled trench coat 1 week ago, Jack Cassidy, Ellen Corby, Grandma Walton, Wally Cox, Broderick Crawford, I believe also an Academy Award winner, Robert Culp, who we also talked about when we discussed Columbo, John Daner, my favorite indestructible character actor on television and in radio, Ed Robertson and I, we've talked at length about Money in the Bank, John Daner, Phyllis Diller, Jamie Farr from MASH, Buddy Hackett, Hugh Hefner, yes, the founder of Playboy, a guy by the name of Bob Hope, Gordon Jump, Mr. Carlson on WKRP in Cincinnati, Ted Knight, who was Ted Baxter on the Mary Tyler Moore Show, Martin Landau, Barbara Bain's husband, and also on Mission Impossible, another legendary character actor on television, Robert Middleton, my friend, who sent me an autographed picture, you've seen it before, that says, "I'm so smart." Julie Newmar, Leonard Nimoy, Simon Oakland, Pat Paulson from the Smothers Brothers show, a dude by the name of Regis Philbin, sure, Tom Poston, Vincent Price, Don Rickles, as we mentioned earlier, Alex Rocco, who you know as Mo Green from The Godfather, Cesar Romero, Larry Storch from F Troop, Vic Tabak, Mel from Mel's Diner on Alice, and Fred Willard. Now, in 1995, and I'm not going to mention any of the 4 movies they made. They're not worth mentioning. But in 1995, and I'm only mentioning this for one reason, the series was briefly resurrected, starring Don Adams and Barbara Feldon, with Andy Dick, yes, as Max and 99's son, Zach Smart, and Elaine Hendricks as 66. Outstanding show. 7 Emmy Awards. Outstanding continued performance by an actor in a comedy, Don Adams. Outstanding writing achievement in comedy, guy I won't mention, and others. Outstanding comedy series. Outstanding continued performance in an actor, again, Don Adams. Outstanding directorial achievement in comedy, Bruce Bilson. Outstanding comedy series. Outstanding continued performance, again, for Don Adams. I mentioned the 4 feature-length films. Watch them if you want. One of them is called The Nude Bomb. It barely made its production budget back. The last thing I have to tell you about Get Smart, before I get to your, I'm sure, insightful and brilliant commentary, is that Apple TV, Amazon Prime Video, and Fandango at Home stream it, but it'll cost you. You might be able to see episodes for free on Dailymotion and YouTube, but you didn't hear that from me. And that is what I have to tell you for the moment, till I get to your comments, about the legendary comedy series, award-winning, good in the ratings, spawned a billion careers, made use of a lot of really already quite famous careers. Get Smart. All right, let's see what you folks have to say. Let's just go ahead and do SG Fanboy a solid here. And let's put Maxwell Gully up on the screen while I look at these comments. Let's see. Doc says, Dupa gets my jokes. Kind of. Chris Cheshire said, isn't the shoe phone in the Smithsonian? I would assume one of them is. I don't know that for sure, but I do know that the shoe phone is in like a CIA museum or some sort of espionage and spy museum. That's a government museum. It's not just a guy who's got a museum. It's a government museum as an example of a form of espionage. I don't know whether it's tongue-in-cheek or not, but I think it's kind of funny. Tim Jenkinson says, imagine you are expecting an important call, then you step in dog doo-doo. Would you believe? Sorry about that, Chief. Dupa is saying hi. Doc says, shoe phone sounds like a good idea. He had the same idea. Tim Jenkins says, I guess they didn't write that scenario into the show. They may have. Tim, they may have. This show really didn't have any boundaries. The Wolf says, Chris, they will keep that but discard important artifacts. Well, that's kind of true as well. Doopa-doopa-doo. Landmine shoe. That could be something, I suppose. Chris Cheshire says, love the mashup episode of I Spy. Max playing a champion ping pong and Robert Culp playing a waiter. Yeah, that is funny. See here. Phone gun. Well, when you really need to shoot a call off. Yes. Sorry about that, Chief. Tim Jenkinson says, it's like the special operations executive, but all ideas are bad. Well, that was the thing about Maxwell Smart. He had horrible ideas, but they always worked for some reason. guess it's because of comedy. Wolf says, there actually have been real working shoe phones created. Now that's perv. It is. It is. Any? I don't know what that pertains to, but I'm sure it's something appropriate. Anyone own the Sports Illustrated shoe phone in the 80s? I had the football phone back then. I didn't have the shoe phone. They don't have any of my size, dude. But the Wolf, it's impossible to find shoes his size. That's another thing. If you can remember that I may not see these comments in real time, you don't have to. I'm just saying it might be helpful. Scott LaRock says Milton Berle was a monster. Milton Berle has so many stories about him that, some people he's the most generous guy in the world. Other people he was the most evil guy in the world. And then there's one story about him that I can't tell here because it's a really big story. Doc says, from Mission Impossible, you say yes. People saying hi. Let's see here. Jeff Carnashan says, I'm 60. I love Get Smart, one of my all-time favorites. Jeff, thank you for being here. I'm roughly the same age, and yes, one of my favorites as well. And welcome. Glad to have you. Everybody say hi to Jeff. Doc says, I wouldn't turn down Mo Green. Oh, yeah, you don't come and talk to a guy like that. You don't buy me out, I buy you out. And then right in the eyeball. Terry Nee says, you're on the boomer line, Jeff. Which side do you consider you're on? That's a good question because I'm right on the line myself, as is Terry. Jeff, Terry's older than both of us. Rumpled Trenchcoat says, LOL, Doc, Coach Mike, John Dealer, have gun will travel. John Daner was the voice of Paladin on radio in Have Gun Will Travel. Good call, Coach. Doopa 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 is clapping. Rumpled Trenchcoat says, I got the box set of the show. Oh my gosh. To open it up, you have to open up multiple fake doors simulating the show's opening credits. That is amazing. And as I understand it, Rumpled, and you can confirm this or deny it, excuse me, 25 discs. 25 discs. SG is getting a little love. The Wolf says 60 is not the boom line. Well, here's the deal. The boomer line, it keeps shifting. You look at one authority and it says it's in one place, and another authority it says it's in another. It's generally, but there's no definitive line for that. Doopa Doopa Doo says Agent 98.6. Good. Doopa, I'm so glad. Somebody got my little joke there. Scott LaRock says, I'm more of an Inspector Gadget man myself. Scott, a good ear. Yes, Don Adams, also the voice of Inspector Gadget. Doc Torn says, Tom, my dude, it's me. When am I ever insightful? Random? Yes. Goofy? Of course. Funny? Sometimes. But insightful? That right there was a very insightful observation about yourself. So there. Terry Nee they say 63, 64. Some places say 60. It's all over the place. There's more of a consensus in one specific year than others, but there's no hard, fast rule to that. I wish there was, but I don't. They just keep changing it, basically, is what I'm saying. I'm prepared to accept whatever the Wolf says because he's usually precise. Doctor and people saying hi. A duck with flatulence says, missed it by that much. Let's see here. People saying hi. SG nailed another Photoshop pic. He did. I can't do it. Tierney says, sorry about that, Chief. It was always great. The sorry about that, Chief was always, Don Adams sets off an exploding smoke bomb, which is hidden in a birthday cake and covers the Chief in frosting and powder. And sorry about that, Chief. Chris Cheshire says, evil. I've seen Milton at Hollywood Park. Yeah, a lot of people do say he's kind of. Have you ever seen him on the Mike Douglas show where Richard Pryor's laughing at him? And he said, what is it? He's like, Richard, I told you a few years ago that, blah, blah. He gave him some sort of very pious, condescending advice. Take your best shot, kid. And he goes, okay, Charlie. Richard Pryor just goes, okay, Charlie, or something back. You can see it. It's on YouTube. Dooba says Chef is in the house. However, there is one really big rumor about Milton Berle that's been verified by lots and lots of people. Let's see. Terry Nee says, that's great, Rumpled. Chef, that's about the box set, which I'm jealous that he owns and I don't. Chef says, yes, I am, Oopa Doopa. Boomer isn't an age. It's not a vibe, because we don't really say vibe here for reasons I won't get into, but it is a mindset. Boomer is a mindset. Rumple Trenchcoat says, it is a lot of discs, Tom. Not sure if it's 25, but that certainly sounds about right. Doc says, Tom, you're not a boomer. 43 is still youngish. Just for that. I know we haven't received any financial support tonight yet, but you're getting the point for that excessive and ridiculously untrue flattery. Let's see here. Chris Cheshire says, Tennessee Tuxedo. Chumley. Phineas J. Whoopi, you're the greatest. Terry Nee says, I meant 1963-64. Sorry about that, Chief. The Wolf says, the boom line was in the 50s. Okay. Chris Cheshire says, I'm a boomer at 72 years old. I think you can safely say, Chris, that you are in there. And for 72, you have a memory better than anybody else. Well, than most of us. Well, than a lot of us. Well, sorry, we all have the same sickness, I think, for these old programs. Kim Warfield said, that's correct, Chris. Let's see here. Rumple Trenchcoat says, there was a surprising amount of murder in that show. Another reason I probably liked it as a kid. Yes. Let's see. Hello, Chief. Oh, Chef. Hello, the Chef's here. Yeah, we always love it when the Chef's here. Terry Nee says, Chris, yes, you're in the thick of it, boomers. Doopa-doo says Milton Berle was a monster in more ways than one. Yes. Yeah, Milton Berle had a legendary presence. I'm not going to say any more than that. Let's see here. People saying hi. Rumpled Trenchcoat, so generous. Thank you for the $5. Says, sorry, not sorry about that, Chief. Thank you so much. And for that, Rumpled Trenchcoat gets the unadorned point, which he so richly deserves. And guess what? I'll take the banner off for a second. So you that's what we call the full point. And now I'll put the begging back up, and we'll get back to your comments. But that's the full point. Yeah. The full point. Terry Nee says, thanks, Rumple. I can afford another $1. Terry Nee normally is right in there with his $1. Scott LaRock is saying chicken and maybe droppings. I don't know. Chicken something. I don't know. I'm going to take that as a compliment. People laughing at Terry, which frequently they do on this program. Doctor says, I'm not down with the sickness, but I'm definitely disturbed. Now, see, because I have that riz, I understand what that means. A band called Disturbed had a hit with the song called Down with the Sickness, which was later covered by Richard Cheese and his orchestra, and is in the movie, the remake, the 2.0 of Dawn of the Dead. Chris Cheshire says, I remember because my uncle was a lighting technician for the studios, and he would tell me stories. Oh, wow, Chris, that is amazing. That has got to be some really, really amazing stuff. The Wolf says, thanks, Coat. I get chewed if I send any amount of money. Well, you don't get chewed, but you get it just makes me uncomfortable. Man, we're buddies. Come on, man. We've known each other 40-some years. And here's the thing. The wolf won't accept anything from me back. Never. He'd just be, I got everything I need. That's what he would say. Terry Nee says, can't. Sorry about that, Chief. Doc says, for the full Monty. Yes, the full thing. Scott LaRock says, wait, you say Riz, but not vibe. Well, in the radio business, vibe is a hack term. So we don't use it here. They use it other places, but we don't use it here. If it makes you happy, I'll say vibe. I'm not that against it. I just, it is, to an extent, a vibe. I think it's more of a mindset. It's a way of life. Boomering. Boomering. Jeepers Creepers. Let's see here. People laughing at Doc Torn. Yes, we did give you the full Monty. The full point. I got to come up with some names for these varying levels of the point. I really do. Interesting, too, because as a chain, it's not even a chain. It's a loosely associated group of like sports bars called The Point here in Dallas, Fort Worth area. There's the Point After North. There's the Midway Point. Anyway, they're called The Point. I'm gonna go ahead and open up the phone lines here for a little while. Yeah, no, I got that kind of time. Anyway, that is our very fun. This is a great series. I really wish that the people that own the rights to this stuff would loosen up a little bit and let us play like a trailer or something, because the music of this, and by the way, I own the music. I have a CD with the music on it and lots of other TV shows. It would be nice to be able to do that and reference the ways people can rent, buy, etc. And that'd be our little trade-off, but they don't. So we won't, because we don't do that. Terry Nee says, it's kitschy, not vibing. It's kitschy. Gilman, always good to see him here. Hey, Jerry, please explain the Schottenheimer Eberfluss hiring. Do you realize you have America's team? Well, Brian Schottenheimer's been here for a number of years, and I've determined during that time that, number one, he's a head coach who will be scrappy. We really prize scrappy here at the Dallas Cowboys. Also, he's been in coaching for like 28 years and has never been a head coach. So I thought, why not use him? But I know he'll do everything I say. I'd hate to get a coach in here who knows what they're doing that didn't do what I say, so I can continue to drive this franchise into the dirt. I'm good as long as we're scrappy. As long as we remain scrappy. There you go, Gilman. The Wolf says, that's the guy whose pictures of you look like. The dude in the full Monty. His first part of note. That is Tom Wilkinson? Is that what we're thinking of? You need to look that up, Wolf, and tell me exactly who you're talking about, because I don't know. Doc Torn says, I really understand what Tom is saying. You can say I got the point. Well, yeah, there you go. I'll give you the point again for that donation. Thank you for the contribution. Kudos to whoever asked for a Get Smart theme. Theme or show. I tried to recreate the Get Smart song at the beginning of this, which was embarrassing to me, but hopefully entertaining to you, which really should be the motto of this program. Rumple Trenchcoat says, not the craw, the craw. Not the craw, the craw. Yeah. The Wolf says he's a coach who can go 8-8 every year. Well, there's 17 games now, so he's going 8-7. Chris Cheshire says, when my parents flew to Vegas, they landed and took a hotel bus to the hotel, and Don Adams was giving the tour over the PA in the bus. Probably had to. Man, this dude had gambling debts like you cannot imagine. Yeah. You know, his last name isn't Adams. He took his first wife's last name because Adams was higher in alphabetical order, and he felt like that would get him more auditions and more work. So there's another little piece of trivia about Don Adams for you. The phone lines are open at 972-994-6822 if anybody would like to call in. Doopa-doopa-doo is saying, Chris, oh, wow, this Chris Cheshire guy here, he shows up and he's just throwing out golden nuggets left and right. Plus, he knows everything about these shows. Chris, welcome. Welcome. Resistance is futile. You have been assimilated. I'm sorry, sir. Terry D says, you sang it well, Tom. I was taught to say that to old people. Yeah, Grandpa, good job. Good job. Now blow out the candle. Okay, we're going to blow out the candles for you. Terry Nee says taught. That's okay, Terry. I'm not going to correct your spelling because I was taught not to do that to old people. Doopa 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 says, Chris is great. Isn't he, though? Hey, Chris, look, you didn't have to donate anything. I'm giving you the point. There you go. Well done, my man. Well done. And welcome again. Yeah, one of us, one of us, one of us. Let's see what we got. Do we got about 10 minutes left? Yeah. So, but Bernie Capel, always great with the German accent and just, there is no way an agent of control is going to wear a pink shirt to an assassination. Oh, by the way, Dupa is correct. Tim Jenkinson is great. I saw him on another Facebook live stream last night, and he had a lot of good observations there as well. Not an Arsenal fan, though, but he's still okay. Chris Cheshire says, speaking of gambling, you should talk about Sammy Tong from Bachelor Father. Thanks for the point. Oh, don't thank me. You do all the work. Doc says, no, I didn't want to be assimilated. You might not have been assimilated, Doc. You just might have been, thrown into the Laganap. You know what I'm saying? Sure. You know what I'm saying? We just put you in the Laganap of the show. It's all right. It's all right. Let's see here. What else we got? Mel Brooks. You'd think I could find a better picture of Mel Brooks than that. I couldn't. There was some from some movies and stuff, but he was doing crazy things with his face, and it didn't work out at all. By the way, this henchman played a henchman like a lot. Not just on this show, but lots of different shows. I don't know his name. I didn't look it up. Didn't bother to look it up at all. And unfortunately, Dick Gautier, I can only find this picture from some obviously Robin Hood-esque program. I couldn't find any photos of him that I could use as Jaime. Let's see. Rumple Trenchcoat. Oh, yeah. Don't tell me you're going to blow it up. I asked you not to tell me you were going. Yeah. Oh, boy. I'm so glad Dupa got my 98.6 joke. I mean, there's even a hit song, isn't there? Hey, 98.6. Let's see. Tom, no. Just no. That's not how we say that. No, that's not how we say it. Lanyap? Is that what you say? Lanyap? I'm just used to spelling it. I'm sorry. I don't say it. I never say it. I just spell it. Tomorrow night on this program, we're going to tell you about the absolutely horrifying vampire fish. It's got a real name, like a scientific name, and then it's got a common name for like the fish, but then it's also got this nickname called the vampire fish. And what this fish does, okay, your private parts, I'm sure you're acquainted with them. It swims up them and starts draining you of blood, and it can't be pulled out because of fins or a certain shape, and it has to be cut out. And there's a lot of controversy about whether it actually does that or not. And even the case that they really always cite about it being done that way has controversy. But Look, I'm not a bright man. This show should be a shining example of this fact. But if somebody tells me that there's a fish called the vampire fish in the natural waters of a particular region, I'm not taking any chances. I'm sorry. Let's see. Dupa says, please hit that like button. Yes, please like, share, subscribe, retweet, notification bell. These are things. Like the like is always, yeah. Share, that gets all of your peeps a look at this show. Retweet, again, more peeps. Notification bell, that's just for you, really. Incidentally, no guarantee you're going to get notified, I've been told. That's just free stuff you can do. That helps. It really helps. Doc? Yes, you got that on the second try. Lenya. Okay. Rumble Trenchcoat says, how on earth did that thing evolve to do that? I'm not sure I want to know. Gilman says, I'm up to season 1, episode 9, Blueprint for Murder, on my rewatch. Thanks, Rich and Adrian. Yes, there you go. There you go, Rumble Trenchcoat. We got you one. I hope you got more subscribers after being on the show last week. In any event, maybe you got one. Doopadoo says, I can't miss tomorrow's show. Ooh, you don't want it to swim up on you, that's for sure. Doc says, yes, I'm very attached to my Richard. You should be. Gilman says, such a fun podcast. Isn't it, though? Isn't Rumple Trenchcoat's podcast? It's such a fun podcast. Rumple Trenchcoat says, you're welcome, Gilman. The only episode Peter Falk ever directed. Oh, gosh. I love the level of deep and abiding. Milton Berle versus the vampire fish. Who wins? I don't know who wins, Julian Zeezer. I just know that the vampire fish will be there for quite a while, if you catch my drift. Chelino is here. He's taken time off from saying horrible things about me on other live streams. Hey, Chelino. Nice to see you for a while. We'll see. Doopadoo says Julian Vampfish wins. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. Incidentally, Doopadoo, it's interesting you said that to me because I was just watching the Jimmy Cliff cult film and listening to the music for The Harder They Come, the Harder They Fall, one and all. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. Well, I don't know. Harder might be an overstatement. Rumple Trenchcoat says the fish would have to stop and ask for directions if it felt, visited Miss Milton Berle. Rumple Trenchcoat says a Columbo podcast, LOL Dupa. And Chelino, wanting to make it all about him again, says, why are you so obsessed with me? I'm not. Would you like some proof? Boom. There you go. Banned. We'll never speak your name again. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. There. The show. Yes, we're getting rid of all the impediments, all the sediments. So, have a good one. There we are. So, that's all I got to tell you. I guess we got to get no calls tonight. I'll close down these phone lines. Chop, chop. Boom. Phone lines are closed. Next time, I'm sure we'll get lots of calls about the horrifying vampire fish tomorrow night. And there'll probably be a lot of extra time to get those calls because A, how much more do you need to say about the thing that swims up into your urethra, which, by the way, is not a legendary soul singer, and does its thing. And there's other stuff I'm not telling you that make it even more horrifying that I'll share with you tomorrow night. There's not a lot. I mean, what more do you need to know? And do you think I'm going to go over that information at a slow pace? No, I'm going to race through it so I can forget about it forever, except, of course, for the nightmares that I'll have for about a month. I'd say about a month. Yeah, about a month, nightmares, about that. And then we'll take your calls. The old vampire fish. Yeah, it's the old vampire. Yes. Would you believe swims up in your urethra? That fish does not show people nor their urethra any RESPECT. It doesn't. It's awful that way. Oh, doggone it. Did SG Fanboy send me another picture and the show started? Daggone. Hold on a second here. Oh, no, he just sent me a note saying anytime. SG Fanboy's the best. He's the best. I'm putting that up again, even though it makes me look silly. I'm going to do it anyway. Doc says, damn, I missed the phone lines. I was doing the wash. It's okay. It's okay. Chris Cheshire says, that's the second biggest vampire fish I've seen this week. Chris Cheshire, thanks for stopping by. Welcome. Docs, and by the way, just for that, you get the point again. There you are. There you are. Let's see here. Chat, tomorrow's goal will be to keep Tom on topic. Not for long. Rumpled Trenchcoat says, yes, SG Fanboy is awesome. SG Fanboy is the living legend, and that's why. The Wolf says, Tom Smart. Tom, not Tom Slick. I just, when I made the title for this particular image, I made it Maxwell Gully. But I'll go by either one. Doc says, skull means cheers, SG Fanboy. Yes, skull. Skola. Chris Cheshire says, got the point. When you get the point, that means you got the point, if you know what I mean. Inside and out. Man, did we have, Tom Terrific. I remember that cartoon. That was on, was it Captain Kangaroo? I remember Tom Slick, boom, 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 Tom Slick, in the Thunderbolt grease slapper, and he's on your tail. He won't fail because there's no such word as fail to Tom Slick, doom, 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 Tom Slick, doom, 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 which was a partner of, George of the Jungle. Oh, dear. Let's see here. SG Fanboy with another great photo. He just keeps on keeping on, doesn't he? Doesn't he? He just keeps on keeping on. Does RTC do a live show? Many questions. Well, not to date, but I have suggested, and I think it was well received, that they do a live end of season show where they award certain categories of things in the show. Like, most complicated plot, most, whatever. They'll figure that part out. They're smarter than me. Their show's entertaining. Rumpled Trenchcoat says, Gil, we are working on doing a live show with Tom's suggestion. Yes. Yeah. So hopefully I'll watch it. I'll be there. We'll all be there. I'll snipe it. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I don't do that. Other people do that. I don't do that. Other people do that. Bad as it is, we create our own content here. We got our own bad content that we make here. Let's see here. Say yes, Tom. Say yes to what? Never mind. I'm just going to say yes. Yes, by all means. Count me in. Dupa says, Rumpled, a live show would be fun. Dupa says, yes, Tom, snipe Rumpled. We're not going to snipe Rumpled. I could record some, and now from the Palisades Theater, the 2025 Rumpies, or whatever you want to call them. Columbies, some just one more thingies, or they'll think of it. They'll come up with it. They're both geniuses, by the way. Like when they're not doing their show, they are geniuses. I'm not going to say any more than that. So they'll figure out something way better than I could. The old man's, this old man's, yes, this old man's, yes. They'll think of something. They'll think of something. Well, folks, that old clock on the wall says that, like the Reverend Al Green, it's time for me to get up on out of here. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. And with all that being said, man, you guys are the best. I just really appreciate all of you showing up. Boomers or no, tell a friend, tell two enemies, do whatever you like. But we are trying to spread the word about this little, spit and baling wire fledgling show. There we go. Oh, I got it. It's the guy in Lie to Me, the guy who the pictures remind me of. Lie to Me? Is that Tim Roth? We'll talk about it on the. Oh yeah, Rumpled Trenchcoat's right with me. Tim Roth. We'll figure it out. We'll get that figured out. But with all that being said, I think, gosh, you guys are the best. I can't believe anybody watches this show, and the fact that we have so many funny, smart, well-informed, hip people in here that like celebrating weird subjects and old shows and all this stuff. I really appreciate it. And I hope you're having a good time. If you have suggestions, let me know. Thursday, I think we're doing overrated, underrated again. Friday, I have no idea. I got Metal Maiden Vicky. We're trying to schedule an interview with her and some other things up in the works. So anyway, let's just say the only thing that's left to say, and that is, till next time, we'll see you next time.